Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Luis Herrera, City Librarian, and I really want to welcome each and every one of you to the grand reopening of this beautiful Merced Library. I know that you've missed it during the time that it's been closed, but I think that once you see the inside, the beautifully renovated library, you will agree with me that it's been worth the wait. So, you know, it's interesting. At a time when you're seeing a lot of libraries reduce services, not only in the region but nationwide, we should be so proud that in San Francisco, not only are we building beautiful libraries, but we're also expanding services. And this library, you should be very happy to know, is going to be open 7 days a week for your use. That is absolutely wonderful. And let me tell you about this beautiful mid-century modern building. We've expanded it about 1,000 square feet. It has a children's room that's been doubled in space, okay, twice the size of a children's room. We heard you loud and clear that you love that courtyard. So that courtyard is still intact. It's out there for your wonderful use. We also have a new space for teens, so that they'll enjoy the library. More books, beautiful books. We also have Wi-Fi technology, more computers. You'll be able to check out laptops so you can use them in here and absolutely explore the world of information. So how's that for a 21st century library? Now, all of this is really a partnership with the community, and we want to thank you for all your engagement and giving us ideas about what you wanted to see happen in the library. But it also is a great team of folks in the city family working together. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge them. First and foremost, with the Branch Library Division, we have folks from our Deputy City Librarian, Jill Bourne, Brian Bannon, our Acting Chief of Branches, Martha Arroyo Neves, Terry Carlson, Tim Williams. They've all done a wonderful job of working very closely with a superb team from the Department of Public Works. And my colleague Ed Riskin will talk about some individuals and give them accolades. But I do want to call out a couple of folks. Lena Chen, who is the project administrator for the entire Branch Library Improvement Program, does a great job. And Mindy Linetsky. Mindy, a lot of wonderful community advocacy. The folks that I really want you to shout out and acknowledge their hard work is the branch staff that not only put it all together, got it ready. It was actually ready about a week ago, if you can believe that, because they were so excited to provide that public service to all of you. But they're doing a phenomenal job, and I want to introduce to you our branch manager, Liz Thakur Estrada. Liz, there you go. And the rest of the team that includes Deborah Prado, the technical assistant, Joseph Liebman, Jamie Wu, Jensa Wu, Marciel Gamino, Martha Moran, and Jim Schaefer. And there's other folks. Let's give a big, big round of applause for the great work. I forgot to mention, this is one of amazing group of branches that have been totally renovated or built. It's 24 projects, 16 renovations, 8 new buildings. This is number 18. So we're on our way to completing the entire project. We have had phenomenal support from our elected officials, our leaders, and I really appreciate that they're all here. But I want to especially welcome our mayor, who has been at many other events, many other library openings, and he's been a tremendous advocate for our library system. So with that, let's give him a warm welcome to Mayor Ed Lee. Mayor.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations again to all of you in joining our library commission, our library director, our library staff, who's worked marvelous with this very successful bond program that began way back in 2005. And I want to let you know this morning, I've been at many sessions already early this morning, but one of the ones that I was very active in this morning was with our youth. And President Obama has started a national roundtable just this morning over 99 cities, including San Francisco, where we had over 20 youth assembled to talk about what they think is a model city for them growing up. And so I brought this as an example because during this morning's conversation, the youth of our city got together and presented to HUD officials on a national level what they thought was most important for them if they were going to have a city that represented their future and their hopes, a model city. And they are, of course, talking about their own city, San Francisco. And in this model, I wanted to present to you their visual as they attempted to draw what was important to them. And in their own words, they put the library at the center of everything they thought was important to the city. I wanted to bring that to your attention. And I know I've got a proclamation for this, but I think from our youth, who are all average 17 years old, from every part of our city, putting their whole future, that the library is at the center of what they think is the most important thing in their lives for their whole future, for where they think they're going to get jobs and training and education, for their community centers. It's similar to what you're here today. I think this is as important as a proclamation. I want to present this to our director of our library and the commission, everybody. It's entitled The Ideal Community. Library sits right at the center. And so I want to present that to you because that's how I feel as well. I'm going to make as many of these library openings because I know this is also the center of activity for all of our government and all of our participatory government in San Francisco. So I want to use that as the opening and to praise everybody who's made this library bond program successful, and certainly with the library and DPW coming together and making sure we honor a very long promise in the city, making every library accessible, usable, as the center of our activities. I want to thank our senator and our board of supervisors for joining me this morning. Congratulations on a great opening for the Merced Branch Library.
Mr. Mayor, I'll have you know that we're going to frame this, and I'm going to take it to our budget hearings, and we can always show it and say it came from the kids and it came from the mayor. What else could we ask for? So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. It's my pleasure now to introduce Senator Mark Leno. And just a few words about Mark. He's attended just about every opening of our entire branch improvement program. So we really have a strong, strong leader and advocate for our libraries. So thank you so much, Mark. Welcome.
Thank you, Luis. I show up at all of these openings because I know a good time when I see one. And nothing brings out the community like the opening, the reopening of our libraries. Welcome to San Francisco's public option for book lovers and information seekers. You know, Mr. Mayor, it's not often we get to say the words, your tax dollars at work, with a smile on our face, but we certainly can today. Voters of San Francisco knew exactly what they were doing in 2000 when we collectively supported and passed a $105.9 million branch library program bond. And now 18 out of 24 branch libraries later, we are well on our way to completing this project on time, under budget, right? So this beautiful 1957 building is now not only seismically retrofitted, it is ADA accessible, LEED certified silver, green, and available for everyone here to use. So at a time when so many governmental services are contracting, San Francisco keeps its libraries open every day of the week, and that's no small accomplishment. Now, the way the law works, bond money can be used to reconstruct and renovate and seismically retrofit, but the interior finishings cannot be used with that public money. It has to be done with privately raised money. And so with the hard work of so many of you here who have donated your time and your effort to raise that money and to donate that money, the Merced Library Capital Campaign, along with the San Francisco Friends of the Library, we've raised close to $500,000 to contribute to that $5.4 million project, which was the overall cost. So give yourself a hand for completing the interior of the project. And a great, wonderful public-private partnership, the community partnering with the city, and the great work of the Department of Public Works, who executes the vision of the architects and the designers to provide what you're going to see in just a minute, this wonderful and restored branch library. So, Luis, I want to congratulate you for the Merced Branch Library. Congratulations. And yes, to our branch leader. And I hope I can join you for the remaining 6, because I'm getting really good at ribbon cutting. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Senator Leno. Also want to comment that we have proclamations from Congresswoman Jackie Spears' office, from Assemblywoman Fiona Ma's office, and we're really, really proud and grateful for their support of libraries. Senator mentioned the environmental sustainability of all our projects, and I do want to mention that because that is important. When you walk into this library, you'll notice the cork flooring. We take great pride in using a lot of materials that are recycled. We also have bamboo in the end panels and many other features you'll notice inside the library. We have an education program for our youngsters in our community and signage that explains all of the environmental features of this library. 7 of the libraries that have been completed are what we call LEED certified at the minimum. Some of them are going to be higher than that. And this has been presented by the U.S. Council of Green Buildings, so we're very proud of that. And I do want to acknowledge our collaboration and partnership with the Department of the Environment in San Francisco. And I think Mark Palmer is in the audience. I want to do a quick call out for him. Thank you for the great work and working with you on that front. And with that, I also want to now take a moment to introduce our district supervisor, shondells. And he's a great story because his grandmother, and I think I'm going to steal his thunder, is a former librarian here. So I'll stop at that, but also suffice to say that he's been remarkably supportive through all of our entire branch improvement program and supporting the expanded hours and sources for our library. So, Sean, thank you for being here.
Thank you, and let me just reinforce what Senator Leno said. A big thank you to everybody here. It is your tax dollars that is making this happen. And as I'm standing here, I can't help but think about just about 2 years ago when we were right down the block, and it was your tax dollars that redid that beautiful Uniper-Serra playground. This neighborhood has gone through a lot of construction, St. Francis Circle last summer, but hopefully what you're going to experience today is going to make all of that worth it. So thank you for all that you've done. And yes, Louise, let me just close that story for you. I talked to my mother, who reminded me that my grandmother was here in 1957 as a librarian when this library first opened. She worked here, and she worked at West Portal. So 2 libraries that we've seen be rebuilt over the last few years. So a very special day for me, but far more importantly, a great day for the neighborhood. And thank you for all that you've done to make it happen.
Another wonderful advocate for libraries who's been attending all of our openings since he's been elected supervisor, and none other than Scott Wiener. So, Scott, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Luis. I always like to say that before I took office, all the libraries in my district were finished because of the efficiency of the library branch program, and so I have a library opening envy, and so I like to go around to the other library openings. But seriously, that efficiency that happened in my district is now happening all over the city. And now that I'm a member of the Board of Supervisors, you get to see from the inside how these different departments function. And let me tell you, the library is such a well-run organization, and we see that with the constant improvement in our libraries and modernizing them to really meet the modern needs of our community. So I just want to congratulate the library and congratulate all of you for getting this amazing reopening. Thank you.
And I mentioned earlier that it also requires a great partnership, and every single project that we complete, it gets stronger and stronger with our great collaboration with the Department of Public Works. They're the ones that are actually responsible for building, renovating these facilities, to manage the schedule, the budget, et cetera, working hand in hand with us. And it's really a pleasure to work with my colleague and Director of Public Works, Ed Riskin. So, Ed, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Luis. It's really a pleasure for the Department of Public Works to work on these projects, the whole Branch Library Improvement Program, and that's because there's such great community support for neighborhood libraries, and they're so important to our neighborhoods and the quality of life in our city, and also because we have such great leadership with Luis, Jill, Brian, and their team, the Library Commission, really great leadership to make sure that these projects get done and done right. So it's a pleasure for us to work on them. I just want to acknowledge some of the men and women from the Department of Public Works and our partners who've worked with us on this project to make it happen. Starting with the design, we had a team of folks from the Department of Public Works, Bureaus of Architecture and Engineering, who did the work respecting this beautiful old building, but breathing new life into it to make sure that it's safe and accessible, to make sure that it's functional for the staff. You heard about all the great green characteristics of it, and to make sure that it was wired for the 21st century. A lot of really meticulous care went into the design of this under the leadership of our city architect, Gary Hoy. The lead architect here was Paul DeFreitas, working with Natalie Ramirez, Phil Sowers, and Brian Gatter, our landscape architect. Let's give them a hand. A firm that's done a lot of work, it's a San Francisco construction company. They've done a number of these libraries. I don't know if they were before, but now I'd say they're probably experts in library construction and renovation. I want to acknowledge CLW Builders, David Liang and Tick Tam. I think Tick is out here. Let's give them a hand. When you go in, you're really in for a treat. When you go inside, you'll see the phenomenal workmanship that they've done here. And they did that under the direction of our construction management team, the resident engineer who is here almost every day making sure that this got done right and on time and under budget, Richard Ree, under the leadership of Ray Birmingham, Joe Chung, and Don Eng. Let's give them a hand. And all of this is happening through the management of our program management staff who are managing the renovation of this as well as the other 23 of our great branch libraries. I want to again acknowledge Lena Chen and Mindy Linetsky, along with Samuel Chewy, Amber Vache, Irene Aquino, under the leadership of Edgar Lopez, who manages all the big projects in town, our Deputy Director Fuad Suisse. It's really a great effort. I'd like to ask you to give them all a hand for their hard work, and congratulations on your great new library.
Thank you so much, Ed. You know, one of the experiences I've had in this neighborhood is to meet folks that tell me, this was my neighborhood branch when I was growing up. We had a sneak peek, and it's just an amazing community in terms of the generational use. So we're going to have another generation of users, but no one illustrates that example more than your native daughter and leader in the community, your fire chief, Joanne Hayes White, who lives in the neighborhood, and I'm delighted to call her a colleague and a friend, and she's here to offer some remarks as well. So, Chief, join us.
Thank you very much, Luis. I'll be brief. I know everyone's interested in seeing the inside of the newly renovated Merced Branch Library. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to Mayor Lee, Senator Leno, the members of the Board of Supervisors, and congratulations and thank you to Luis and all of the employees of the library as well as the Department of Public Works. This is a very proud moment for me. I'm here. My mom's here. Mom, wave your hand. The quick story is that I grew up about 10 houses up from this library, just up the street on Stonecrest, and I love the neighborhood so much. My parents moved in when I was 5 months old in 1964. When we had the opportunity in 2000, we purchased the house right next door. So I'm raising my 3 boys who are here with me today too, Riley, Logan, and Sean. And my sister Patty. We're here because we spent countless hours, my sisters and I, and my brother, a little bit my brother, but mostly my sisters and I, here. And we learned so much. We made friends here. I think we got thrown out a few times because we were a little too noisy, but this place represents so much to us. And every day when I drive into work, I was able to see the progress of the renovation and all of the construction. So it's a very exciting day. And I know it is for many of you. I see many people that I know, many of my neighbors. So thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So much. The Library Commission has been an extraordinary group of community volunteers that have given us direction and provided leadership to complete the entire BLIP program. Representing the Library Commission today is our Vice President of the Commission, Lee Munson. Lee.
Thank you, Luis. Everyone that has been recognized so far, I would like to, again, recognize the same people. That would simplify things a little bit. There are three other commissioners, though, who haven't been mentioned by name. Michael Nguyen. Mike. Teresa Ono. And Michael Breyer. As Louise mentioned, the library project, this project, is number 18 out of 24, 24 major construction projects. The projects consist of 8 new buildings and 16 renovations. You might say, well, where do we need a new building? Well, in Mission Bay, for example, that's one place. And in places where we have been renting buildings, we don't want to keep paying rent. And the buildings, the rents get pretty high if you get a large building. So we'd rather build a building that's specially designed for library use. And that's what we've done. So we've built 8 buildings. Why are we doing this? Well, now more than ever, libraries are extra important to their neighborhoods. And I think it's going to be that way for a long time. Each time a new library opens, we see the circulation of materials increase, on average, 90%. The average number of visits to the new library rises 115%, and the average number of new library cards jumps 170%. So people really are interested in libraries. And our commission feels our libraries are treasures for San Franciscans, a place where everyone is welcome and can come together. They provide a place for our children to learn to read. We provide homework help and a safe place for our youth. We provide public computers for those who have no other access to technology, and for lots of other people as well that would like to use computers and maybe have one at home. But that's okay. We provide information, answers to questions, research resources, and of course we provide books, movies, and music. And it's all free. It's paid for out of your tax dollars. But there's no additional charge to come to the library. During the 1900s, the library received donations from a fellow named Andrew Carnegie. He was a big philanthropist back before World War II. I think we built 5 branches with Carnegie's money, and they're holding up well. But of course, they didn't have seismic facilities, and they didn't have they were not set up for access for handicapped people. So we're taking those libraries and we are remodeling to bring them up to date, but without losing the charm of those libraries. We hope to provide, with this 24 library program, we hope to provide libraries that people can enjoy for the next 50 years or longer without a major rebuilding. And with your help, we're getting there. We're pretty close. We only have 6 more to go. So thank you again for all your help.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Very, very well stated. We have an amazing group of community volunteers and leaders that have helped in the neighborhood library campaign to raise funds for the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. You'll hear more about that from Donna Barrow, the executive director, but it's my pleasure to introduce the co-chairs, and I believe one of them is here now, Bessie Barnes and her colleague Ray Ann Donnelly. Let's give them a big round of applause. They're your community leaders, folks.
Hi, thank you I'm so excited that we're opening, and I'm rearing to get in also, so I'm going to make this real quick. I'm the co-chair from the Merced Library Committee, and it's been a great past 2-3 years fundraising and working on community building and community awareness, trying to bring money to raise for the inside of the library. The infrastructure was paid for. I see my other co-chair coming right now. She just ran from her house. I grew up with this library also, and it was just really exciting to know that we were going to have Wi-Fi, to hear we're going to be able to check out laptops. The community has been great. We were able to raise $10,000 in one swoop with our Valentine's dinner dance. That was last February. And we also were able to achieve of our $100,000 goal, $65,000. We're still graciously accepting donations, so, just keep that in mind, but it's really going to be great today. This is Ray Ann.
I'm Ray Ann Donnelly, and I'm also a co-chair. And to add to Bessie's comments, I would like to say that I know we're all grateful to have our library open again. It's the heart of our community. We all have in our families stories that our family history shares of things that happened in this library. We met a librarian, we read a book, we saved a child from falling out the window or coming back into the window. What I need to do is tell you that it's not finished yet. When the original planners met with the architect, they understood that we had to raise $100,000 to supplement the library bond. And so far we have only come up in hard economic times with $65,000, which is really incredible. But I would like to ask you to donate whatever you can to complete the renovation of this gorgeous library. When you see it, you will want to donate, I think. It is far beyond what I expected. It's lovely. And Donna from the Friends of the Library will speak to you about what we need and how you can donate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so very much, Bess and Rayanne. When I hear them speak, it reminds me that this is your neighborhood library. Never mind the fact that it's a partnership building it and renovating it, but at the end of the day, we want you to feel like it really is yours, and you have had a say in not only the design, but also in fundraising to make it a community asset. So thank you so much for that. And with that, this is also a remarkable time in the history of the library. It's the 50th birthday, or anniversary, if you will, for the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. And we're delighted for the amazing work that they've done. And it's had an amazing renaissance thanks to the leadership of the Executive Director, Donna Barrows. So, Donna, come on up.
Thank you, Luis. Welcome, everybody. Luis always gives me the dubious honor of being the last person standing between you and your new library, so I will be very brief. I do want to say thank you so much, all of you who have participated. And one of the things that we've really noticed, and you've heard this note a couple of times in people's comments, is that people have such fond memories and such great sense of ownership with this library. And when we were here several days ago, one evening, to just sort of have a little sneak peek, and I was coming back out to my car, and there was a dad with his two very little kids taking an evening walk and looking over and seeing lights on in the library and saying, oh, maybe it's going to open soon. And I said, oh, you've got to come on Saturday. It's going to be great, and there'll be lots of festivities. And this little boy who was maybe 4 years old came running up to me and went, that's our library. And it was just such a sense of pride and excitement in someone so small. And so we're really, really thrilled with this. You've heard about the challenges that we have raising money, but one of the things I want to say is as much as we work to raise money, we try to raise the voices in the community, and you all have spoken so eloquently about the value of libraries. In 2007, this neighborhood came out at 75% of the voters to make sure that the library has the funds that it needs, and you consistently have supported the library both with your checkbooks and at the ballot box. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to particularly thank Bessie and Rayanne for leading the effort here. And I want to thank wonderful donors like Christopher Sam, who's been so generous in memorializing and honoring his family. And I want to thank the San Francisco Federal Credit Union for putting on the party today. So that, yes, thank you for all of you. And so we're going to get started now. There'll be a little table in the courtyard if you want to find out more about being part of the campaign. There's still plenty of room for names on the plaque. And so we want to say thank you all. Thank you to all of our elected officials who really get it about libraries. And thank you, Luis, for being the greatest partner to work with.
Big thank you to the Stonestown YMCA for allowing us to park the bookmobile so you can have some level of services during the closure. So how about a round of applause for the YMCA? And we're almost there, folks, but the San Francisco Library staff is like a family, and it's always wonderful to have folks return. And I'd like to acknowledge the former branch manager who recently retired. She's with us here today, Sue Bizio. Sue, thank you for being here. And another community member, I don't know if she's in the audience, but I hope she is, because she's for many, many years been a representative to our Council of Neighborhood Libraries. Those are folks that are very active in giving us support, ideas, give us a pulse of the neighborhood. Her name is Harriet Solid. And Harriet, if you're out there, or if you're not, definitely know that your ears are buzzing because we tremendously appreciate all your support and activism. Thank you, Harriet. And with that, we are ready. Are you ready? Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a ribbon cutting countdown. And then our tradition is to have the Joe Ming Athletic Association Lion Dancers bless the building for good luck for the next generation of users. So we can ask you to be a little patient while they go through the building and then make their way out. Then we'll have all of you come in and welcome us. Okay, so thank you again. With that, we will have Mayor Lee, our chief, our elected officials come and join us. And we're going to start from 10 and do a countdown. All right.